Hi guys, welcome back to Manifest with Armine. My name is Armine and I am a law of attraction consultant. Alright. This video is about superstition. Some of you come from cultures, whether it be ethnic cultures or just in your community, ideas and conceptions of what is a superstition and how does it affect your life, and how you have to be careful what you do to avoid things, to avoid bad things from happening, and to be safe from superstition. And you either kind of believe it or you don't. And then there's, I think, the majority of us who think it's a bunch of BS, but part of us is still a little bit cautious about it. So, superstition is none other than the law of attraction in the past, when people didn't actually understand the way it creates our reality and didn't understand to the extent of how simple it is and how it is woven. It is the fabric of our lives, the way the law of attraction works. So people who experienced synchronicities or they had thoughts that manifested with certain things, they now associate the thing or the method that brought those things to them, be it good or bad, and be it to themselves or somebody else, they now call that basically superstition. And what does that mean? That means don't do this or this will happen. There are so many I can list, but I'm not going to, because there's no reason to focus on the superstition. Superstition, if the reason you're watching this video is to find out, is superstition real? Does it exist? Superstition is thought. Superstition is suggestion. So if you're going to fear it, so I can say if you're going to believe it, but belief is such a general thing. So if you fear it, that means you kind of believe it. Then it will likely have some kind of manifestation. It will manifest in some way or form in your life. Does it have to be that way? No. Superstition, as we have been sort of introduced to it throughout our lives, is that if someone does this, someone puts a curse on you, or if somebody, does a certain thing, or if you do a certain thing at a certain time, then you are doomed to this. And that is simply not true. That is a way of someone taking away your power, whether or not they even know it. And no one can actually take away your power. You're actually just using your power to limit yourself. That's exactly what you're doing. You can't give away. You know how they say in these like empowerment quotes and memes and stuff, they say, don't give your power to someone else, or don't give your power to a man, or don't give your power to a woman, or whatever. What is that? You can't give your power to anybody. Your power, you are power. You are power. The question is, are you limiting your perception of your power and allowing other people's vibration to dominate yours, to influence yours? Are you choosing your vibration, the frequency you're on, based on what someone else is telling you? And some people are very convincing. Some people have very strong energy, and you can feel that, because that either comes from, when they're from their presence and the way they speak, you feel like they are either, whether or not to push you away, it feels powerful, and it feels like you can feel your energy being influenced by theirs. The truth is, ultimately, you choose your frequency. You choose the way you're vibrating on any subject in any moment. So if you're walking under a ladder, if you're so afraid of walking under a ladder that you just will not do it, then what does that say? That says you are limiting your understanding of your power, of being power. This ladder and walking under it it can't possibly dictate your luck, or what you call luck, any more than, whether or whether you're, sitting in the shade or in the sunlight, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. The whole force behind that superstition is that you may have just heard that for so long, that don't walk under a ladder, don't walk under a ladder. So what could happen, even if whether or not you believe this, if you buy into that or not, you may not even understand if you buy into it or not. But your subconscious mind has either bought into it or kind of not bought into it. It's leaning either way in any moment. So you might walk under a ladder and then, something might happen. You're like, oh crap, this happened because I walked under a ladder. That could be a coincidence because that thing was going to happen anyway. But more likely, that thing came to your attention because your subconscious mind was hearing something not great because it thought, okay, it went through a ladder. So the question really is, what are you letting yourself buy into? What are you letting yourself buy into? What if you told yourself, every time I walk under a ladder, something really awesome is going to happen, something great is going to happen? Just think about that for a moment, because it's worth thinking about for at least one moment. Think about what you can create in your life by suggesting those kinds of things. Hey, today when I walk under this tree, this amazing thing's gonna happen. When I walk under the foliage of this tree, or every time I walk by this tree, something amazing happens right after. Because that is what your mind will accept, and that is what will manifest. And the truth is that things that we can perceive as not good or as good are happening all the time. It's a matter of what we're tapped into. So if we're convinced that we're going to hear bad news, then we are going to hear bad news and we're going to notice it. If we're tuned into hearing good news, then that's what we're going to hear all around us, and we're not going to be tuned into the bad news that they show on TV and the things that we don't really prefer to hear. And the more and more you're tuned into hearing things you want to hear, the more good things are going to manifest for yourself in your life and for the people around you. So just think about how, instead of thinking about superstition, think about how amazing your life can be by just making a small switch. Just every day, choose one thing. Choose one thing. Okay, say every time I have almonds, something amazing happens after. Why is that not the way we are living, Why is that not the way? Oh, Apple Maps just passed by. We'll be in that one maybe. So yeah, why is that not the way we are all thinking? Why are we, instead of fearing things, how come, and some of you know this, and some of you love the number 13, because you know that that's a lucky number. Why is it lucky? Just because you've chosen it's lucky, because the whole rest of the world wants to think it's unlucky. So, okay, choose it's lucky, then it will be lucky for you. When you see a black cat, be like, that's awesome, that's a black cat. That black cat is an animal. It is a wonderful thing. Why would you just sabotage your moment by saying, oh man, a black cat passed by, maybe that's not good, So it's just, I can say it's silly, but for some people it really has, effects that are not great on their life. And sometimes you can really spiral down and start to really, when one thing manifests from a superstition, just because it's something that you've bought into that paradigm, then, then now you fear superstition, and then it turns to, just a whole bunch of mess. But ultimately, it's auto-suggest. Whatever you suggest to yourself or whatever you accept other people have said, that is what is going to manifest into your experience. Another thing I really want to say is whether or not you're religious, if you believe in God, if you call it universe, God, I'm going to turn a little to Neville Goddard right now. Okay, Neville says that faith, your belief in God is measured by your confidence in yourself. Why? Because we are not just, things walking around here. We are physical manifestation of Source, of God, the universe, right? So we're not just things walking around here that are controlled by some guy in the sky that we're supposed to be afraid of. And so if you are superstitious, or if someone is superstitious, or you come across someone who's superstitious, and you're now kind of wavering in your faith of like the way life actually unfolds, the laws of nature that we talk about, then what's happening is that you either have faith in good or you have faith in the lack of good. And when you're believing in a superstition, then you can't believe in God and believe in a superstition in that same moment, if that makes sense to you. Because I'm not gonna say, oh, you're not Christian enough, or you're not whatever faith you are enough. It's not about that overall, because we are not just a general, we are not like either perfect or imperfect. We are in different moments, perfect and imperfect to different levels, to different degrees. And that doesn't even matter, because we're evolving beings, an evolving world and an evolving universe. So, is it okay to believe in a superstition? It happens. It happens to all of us. However, you need to kind of accept that you can't. Yeah, if you're saying that I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in the universe, I believe in Source, and then you go and hang like a lucky charm somewhere because to keep the evil spirits away. Just like ask yourself, because you can't actually be believing in God and understanding the nature of God, and then being afraid that you need to hang this thing, otherwise you're in danger and you're not protected, or you're not led by the same laws of nature that you're saying you believe in, by believing in God and knowing that you are a manifestation of God, and you are attracting everything that happens to you through your thoughts and your feelings and through gratitude. So you can't in a moment, and I say this because I'm coming from a culture who culturally we are the first, we as in my ethnicity as a nation was the first to accept Christianity as a nation, and yet we have our own our own church and everything, but our own apostolic church and very, I'd say, devout Christians as an ethnicity. I'm half Armenian. So the question here is, why then do we, as tradition, when children are born or when we have a special event, we put a little blue bead in the shape of an eye. We pin that on the babies. We do these things for luck. So, and I'm not here to pick on anybody, because this is tradition. We do certain things because Greeks do that. They have the little eye, and it's supposed to keep the evil eye away, and it's just kind of interesting, because let's be mindful of what we do. I will sometimes use symbols, but never in a way to say, okay, this means luck. Look, I'm wearing this sometimes lately. This does not mean that I'm I'm a devout whatever, or I'm wearing this because it means I'm protected. That's not necessarily bad. Nothing is in itself good or bad. It just means that this kind of makes me feel good to wear it lately. That's it. But if you're holding onto something and saying, I've got to wear this little blue bead because then the evil eyes are going to be looking at me and jealous people are going to give me bad luck, then just think about it. Because if you're saying that you're believing in one thing, if you believe in God and whatever God means to you, and then you go and say that you need certain things to protect yourself from jealousy, then, or from jinxes, then does that make sense? Does what you're doing making sense? Because sometimes we just adopt whatever, rituals that our family or our communities pass down to us, and we just do them without even thinking. And if when those things are bringing fear into our lives, ask yourself, is it this worth fearing? Why am I fearing this? So this has been a long video, but honestly, this is the nature of superstition. This is why. Does that mean you go through life being ha ha ha, nothing can touch me? Well, things touch us at different times of our lives, depending on what we've bought into, depending on what fear paradigms we have, depending on, are we deciding consciously that this is something that could affect us in a negative way? Or are we suggesting things that could affect us in positive ways? Because it is so much more productive and progressive to think of things that could be good for us rather than not good for us. So superstition is pretty much a pushed on way of bringing fear. And those things were created before certain people, certain communities, certain cultures understood the law of attraction. If you ask an older person, they'll give you a lot of advice that is in alignment with everything we're learning about the law of attraction. It's because with age you can't help but, if you have no resistance and you live a peaceful life and you believe in the good of what we are meant for in this life, then that understanding is there within us. And the only reason that some of us push away so much is because we've just covered it with so much fear and doubt and believing that there's not enough good, or there's lack of good people and good things in this world. If you've liked this video after, how long has it been? 18 minutes. If you stuck with me this far, then that means that you are actually really interested in this topic. So please give it a like, this video, and subscribe for more about how to understand the things that we've been taught through the perspective of the law of attraction and how that is tied to it. Thank you guys. Have a great day.